I was recently asked how I deal with life when things just aren't going right. When it feels like getting out of bed is a worthless endeavor and you're better off just not wasting your time or energy. I feel like these feelings are more common than we talk about, especially in the younger generations these days. And as a young man, sometimes you're expected to know what you need to be doing or the direction your life needs to be going. And when you don't have those answers or you're unsure of where you need to be going or how to get there, you can kind of slowly start to see yourself as a failure. When I was younger, I often felt like life was kind of passing me by, and maybe that's something you've felt as well. Feels like I'm just a rock in a stream and there's rushing water all around me. The people I know, my friends, my classmates, my coworkers, they're all progressing. They're making these plans and executing on them. They're starting careers and starting families, and I'm just sitting here, kind of in homeostasis, just unsure of what to do, and I'm not making any moves in any direction because everything around me just feels so overwhelming. And sometimes it feels like even trying to chart a course in that water is a futile effort, because when you try to go one way, life will take you another. So slowly over time, over a series of failures or mistakes, you kind of just expect that you can't do anything right. You can't progress. There's nothing you can do, and you're kind of just along for the ride. Now, I've suffered with anxiety for a good chunk of my life, longer than I realized. And I've also had my bouts of depression as well. And unfortunately, my solution a lot of the time when I was feeling stressed out or like I didn't know what to do was to just do nothing. I would just sit and wait for life to present me with the only option left, because I didn't know how to deal with the pressure of having to try and make a plan and make decisions to work towards that end goal. It was much easier for me, and it felt like better for me to just sit and wait. And then once it got down to the wire, once I had no choice but to make it work, the path I needed to complete my task would be set before me. Not because I chose it, mind you, but because it was the only path left at that point at the 11th hour. I thought this was a decent coping mechanism, to be honest with you. I thought I just needed to take my time on things, and I reframed it in my head to be a positive. But in all honesty, this was just me succumbing to anxiety. Me feeling like nothing could go right, like I didn't know what to do, and as a result, I just didn't do anything. I wish I could go back now and talk with my younger self with all the knowledge I have and the tools I have gained over years of working on my confidence, working on my mind, working on my faith, working on my body. And I just wish I could make that younger version of myself see that they can do anything. It's a lot easier said than done, but the reality is there are endless possibilities in front of you. And yes, that is stressful, and there's certain paths that you will go down that lead nowhere. But it is better, in my opinion, to try and fail than it is to just sit and do nothing. I realize now that I was doing that to try and save myself the anxiety of making a wrong decision, or the guilt of putting myself into a bad position, or the embarrassment of feeling like I had failed or done something wrong. But it wasn't a true solution. It didn't really help me grow as a person, and I continued to kind of use this reaction to stressful situations until eventually, one day, that reaction no longer worked. So just know, if you are like me, and I have a feeling you might be, and you sit and you don't react sometimes because you don't know how to react, that's okay. We're human, we make mistakes, but just know that that won't be the solution forever. That won't fix anything. And eventually you will have to take charge of your life. What I can promise you is it is not easy, but it will be worth it. You will be so much happier being the captain of your own ship instead of just tossed wherever life decides to take you on the waves of uncertainty. So to answer the question, When life gets hard and when I feel down and I'm uncertain of what to do, instead of sitting and doing nothing, waiting and seeing what life throws to me, I go through the things that make me feel empowered in my life. The things that make me feel like I have control. And those things, while they have a huge, powerful effect, I've found are often very small, almost rituals you can do every day to kind of make things easier, to slowly build up your confidence. I like to get up and make my coffee and make sure I take my dog on a walk. I like to work out even though I never feel like it. I like to make sure I'm eating well instead of going for greasy, short-term satisfaction food. I like to force myself to take time to read because the love of reading was beaten out of me in college, and I want to be able to get back to enjoying it. And I take time before work every day to make sure that I know exactly what I need to have done, when I need to prioritize things, and set my game plan for what I need to do. These small actions add up in a huge way and make me feel like I have more control over my own narrative. Slowly, and I do mean slowly in my case, my confidence increased, and I found it easier to make decisions on what I needed to do in other aspects of my life. Slowly, as I physically felt better, I mentally felt better, I emotionally felt better, I found it easier to break out of that uncertainty and the stagnation that came along with it. So if you are stuck, if you're unsure of what to do, then I would say just find the first thing to do. You don't have to have the whole picture, but if you start doing one small thing, you will probably find that if you continue on to the next thing you can handle, the next thing you can control, the next thing you can accomplish, that momentum will carry you further. Know that sitting in stagnation, in stasis, waiting, is not a solution to your anxiety. It is just temporarily delaying it. And life will have its downs, but it will also have its ups. That is inevitable. That is the cycle of things. And if it means anything, just know that if you feel like you can't do it, if you feel like you have no chance, just know that I believe in you. If I could do this, I know that any one of you listening can. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. I can promise you that. So if you're listening to this and you're stuck and you're unsure of what to do and you're feeling bad, I would challenge you to just start with just one thing. Just do one thing you can control and take it from there. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video today. If you have any other topics you want me to cover, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And as always, make sure to eat well, stay hydrated, take care of yourself and those around you. And I will see you in the next one, friends.